Hello and welcome. This is Business Incorporated coming to you live from Lagos. Thank you for joining us. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago. On the program today, South African banks rated as the strongest around the world by the banking advisory group Lafferty. The Nigerian-born president of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, emerges the 2017 World Food Prize laureate. Plus, the International Monetary Fund approves $666 million 3-year extended credit facility for Cameroon. Let's get started now, and of course with the markets. Most of the markets that we track here in Africa remain closed today for the Muslim Eid al-Fitr holiday, except for South Africa. Now, the JSE index rebounded at intraday after the South African banks were rated as the strongest around the world by the banking advisory group Lafferty. It is the second year in a row that the banks have been given this rating. Lafferty is reported as saying that despite South Africa's credit rating having been downgraded to junk status by some rating agencies, it has not affected the standards of the banks. The 5 South African banks that were part of the study were Capitec, Absa, First Rand, Standard Bank and Nedbank. Here in Nigeria, the market is still closed and of course will reopen tomorrow. It actually closed down 2.45% on Friday. Egypt remains closed and it closed positive on Thursday by 0.30%, and Nairobi was up 0.16% on Friday and remains closed today. In the Middle East, markets there are still, of course, on holidays to mark the Eid al-Fitr celebration. However, on Thursday, the last day of trading for the market, Saudi Arabia's stock market extended on the previous session's rally as investors focused on shares likely to benefit from economic reforms and from MSCI's decision, while Qatar rebounded as foreign funds were net buyers. Saudi was up 1.24%. Qatar's stock index rebounded 2.88%, snapping 4 sessions of declines as 39 shares rose and only 2 declined. Elsewhere, Abu Dhabi's index fell 0.62% as Eshrak Properties, the most traded stock, lost 8.7%. Dubai's index fell 0.47% as shares of the most traded stock, GFH Financial Group, slumped 8.9%. We move on now to Wall Street, where stock index futures pointed to a flat to slightly upper open as investors awaited data and key remarks from the leading Federal Reserve members, including Chair Janet Yellen. Philadelphia Fed President Patrick Harker is expected to be speaking at the European Economics and Financial Center in London, where he is set to discuss international trade and the economic outlook. Fed Chair Janet Yellen will also be in the British capital, where she is set to have a conversation about global economic issues with Lord Nicholas Stern, the British Academy President. Meanwhile, Minneapolis, Fed President Neil Kashkari will be at a town hall forum in Michigan. Stepping aside from central bank news, a slew of economic releases should come out today, including the S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index due out at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Consumer confidence and the Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index are also slated to be released, both out at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. The numbers there have Dow Jones Industrial Average, well, looking flat but up 0.07%, S&P 500 up 0.03%, and Nasdaq down 0.29%. And markets in Asia closed mixed today as traders watched for signals from central bankers' speeches. The Nikkei 225 rose 0.36% to end at 20,225.09, while South Korea's benchmark Kospi index reversed earlier losses to close 0.14% higher. The Australian ASX 200 declined 0.1%, but finished off session lows at 5,714.2. Greater China markets were mixed. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index gave up earlier gains to trade lower by 0.07%. The Shanghai Composite closed up by 0.19%, and the Shenzhen Composite edged higher by 0.092%. Markets in Indonesia are closed for a public holiday.